Hello everybody, I hope all are keeping fine. Today we'll start the first chapter, that is resource and development. Okay, so first we'll try and understand what is resource. Okay, so everything that is available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs can be termed as resource. Okay, but don't you think this definition is too short? So we'll try and elaborate it. Okay, everything available in our environment that can be used to satisfy our needs, okay, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. So what does it mean? Now for example, say gold. Okay, we'll take gold as a resource. To get this gold, we need to extract it right from the ground. What do we use to extract it from the ground? We use the technology to extract it from the ground, right? So we use the technology. So basically the goal is accessible with the help of technology, right? And secondly, it has to be, that goal has to be economically feasible as well. Now what do you mean by that? The gold that you have extracted from the ground using the technology, that one has to be, that one has to have some value, economical value. Economy is something money value. Okay, so for example, that gold, now you can sell it, right? It has some value, it has a value, you can sell it. Okay, it has some economic value, so it has to be economically feasible and also culturally acceptable. Now in a culture we accept gold, that it has some value. Okay, it has to be accepted. Now suppose say that gold, uh, we do not accept it. Okay, we do not accept it, it has value, and nobody buy gold, nobody do not like the gold, then that gold will have no value, right? So in that case, that gold will not be called as resource. Okay, so it has to be culturally acceptable also. So we should accept it, that it has a value. Okay, so that is the entire definition of resource. I repeat, you can pause the video and write a definition as well. Okay, so everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, okay, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, uh, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resource. Okay, so we'll see next the types of resources. So in broad sense we have four types of resources. Okay, first, on the basis of origin, exhaustibility, ownership, and status of development. Now on the basis of origin we have two types, that is biotic and abiotic resource. Okay, so biotic resource are the resource that are obtained from the biosphere and have life, such as human beings, flora, fauna. Okay, so anything that has life, they will be termed as the biotic resource. Now abiotic resource, all those things which are composed of non-living things are called abiotic resource. Example, like you have rocks, minerals, land, water. Okay, those are the abiotic resource. Next we will see on the basis of exhaustibility. Okay, first we have renewable resource, the resource which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical, or mechanical process are known as renewable resource. Okay, which can be renewed. Okay, for example, such as solar energy, the wind energy, those things are the renewable resources. Then we have non-renewable resources. What are they? They are the resources once consumed cannot be replaced, are called non-renewable resources, such as fossil fuel, like the petrol we use, right, to run our motor vehicle. After we use, it's gone, right? We cannot renew it again. Okay, now for example, say the petrol that we get it from the ground, it takes thousands and millions of years to form that petrol. So we categorize them under non-renewable resource. On the basis of ownership, firstly we have individual resource, the resources that you own individually, like your house, your property. Okay, your books, those are individual resource. Okay, to define that, resources that are owned privately by individuals, example, people own plots, houses and other properties, can be termed as individual resource. Okay, next we have community owned resource, the resources which are accessible to all the members of the community. Okay, such resources are called community owned resources. Example like what? The public parks, your playgrounds, the community halls we have, etc. Okay, those are the examples of community owned resource. Next we have national resources. These are the resources, okay, belonging within the national political boundary, and in the ocean you have up to 12 nautical miles. Okay, nautical miles is nothing, it's a unit of measurement basically on the sea, like we have kilometer on the land, like that. So it's basically it's a unit of measurement on the sea. You use that nautical miles. Okay, within that 12 nautical miles, it will be termed under the national resources, any resources within that. Then international resource, the oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles, okay, of the exclusive economic zone, where no individual country can utilize this without the permission of international institutions. Okay, there are some resources which are like in the middle of the sea, right, which doesn't belong to any of the country. So there is something called international body, they own these resources. So if you want to extract any resources from there, you take special permission from this international international bodies. Okay, so international institutions, you will take permission from them and then utilize that resources if you want to. So such resources will be termed under the international resources. Okay, next, on the basis of a status of development, we have 4 types again. There is first potential resource. Okay, so what is this potential resource? Resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. Okay, resources that, I'll repeat, resources which are found in a region but have not been utilized. For example, Rajasthan and Gujarat have enormous potential for the development of what? Wind and solar energy, but so far these have not been developed properly. Okay, like Rajasthan, they have huge potential of this wind and solar energy, but it has not been developed properly. Maybe in future they would develop. Okay, such resources are termed under potential resource. It is lots of potential is there. Okay, so developed resource is nothing but resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. We are still, whatever the resource that we are using, which we have already developed and we are using, those resources are the developed resources. We have already developed and we are using those resources. Okay, next we have the stock resources. What is this? The resources that have been surveyed but cannot be used due to lack of technology. We do not have we do not have technical know-how to use these resources. Okay, for example, water is a compound of 2 inflammable gases, right? Inflammable meaning which can burn a lot. Okay, so 2 inflammable gases, that is hydrogen and oxygen, which can be a rich source of energy, but we do not have technical know-how to use them. Okay, so next we have the reserved resource. I'm pretty sure reserve, what do you mean by reserve? Sometimes you reserve seats for your friends, right? Before you come to school, you tell your friends, okay, reserve a seat for me. Okay, yeah, similar to that. Okay, resources which can be put into use with the help of existing technology. Okay, we have the technical know-how, but their use has not been started. Like you have seen, you heard somewhere people saying like this forest under the reserve reserve. Okay, then you have also called the reserve category, ST, SC, those stuff. So basically we keep it for future use. Okay, the resources, we can use it, we have the technique, we have the technology to use it, but then we are not using it, we are keeping it for future generations. Okay, so such resources can be termed as reserve. For example, the water in the dams, forest, etc. are reserves which can be used in the future. Like the forest we preserve for future. If you cut down all the forest and use it, what will be left out for coming generations, right? So basically we reserve the resources and keep for them also. Okay, so more of sustainable development type. Well, that's it for today. Try and memorize all these bases, okay, types of resources, generally divided into four bases on the basis of origin, exhaustibility, ownership, and status of development. Try and memorize them, and don't get confused, especially stock and reserve. Okay, this place generally students tend to get confused. Okay, so you have any doubt or queries related this topic, you can always drop in a message in the group. Okay, we have the WhatsApp group, right? You can always drop in a message, or you can get in touch to me directly, you can DM it to me. Okay, so in next class we'll see the major problems due to indiscriminate use of resources. Okay, that we will see in the next class. Till then, take care. Okay, and as always, stay tuned with your books. Okay.